though when the members of the original X-Men were captured by Krakoa, which was this mutant island that absorbed mutant abilities to feed it, Scott was the only one that came back fine. And Scott and Charles Xavier put together a new team of X-Men. And thus Scott Summers actually stayed after they actually saved the original X-Men. He actually stayed on as a leader. And, once again had lots of problems with Wolverine. However, excuse me. After that, there was the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force pretty much took the place of Jean Grey, using her body. And when it committed suicide after going completely nutter-butter and realizing that it had done wrong, Scott Summers believed that he had lost the one woman that he loved. And thus he left the X-Men and went and just tried to ease his pain. After a while, he finally came back. And when he returned, he met a woman named Marilyn Pryor. A woman who had a really uncanny resemblance to Jean Grey. And the two of them actually fell in love and got married. And Marilyn became the mother of Scott's son named Nathaniel Charles Summers. Now, Nathan Summers might sound familiar to some of you, but I will, I'll explain that later. Now, Jean Grey returned after spending time in suspended animation. And Scott, left his wife and son to rejoin the X-Men and establish, a new team, the X Factor. He didn't leave her for Jean whatsoever, but just, however, something interesting happened. It turns out that Marilyn was a clone of Mr. Sinister, and she later became the supervillain known as the Goblin Queen. She had the ability to summon like demons and things like that, and she attacked New York City. However, Marilyn died in combat with Jean Grey. Later on, the mutant known as Apocalypse infected Nathan with a techno-organic virus, and to save his son, Scott Summers trusted the member of the clan Asikan or something like that to transport the young baby hundreds of thousands of years into the future to save his life, because they had technology then to, keep him from dying. And thus, they saved the world from Apocalypse. And, that this child will actually save the future from Apocalypse, but more on Nathan later. Now, when the X-Force was disbanded, Scott joined the X-Men once again, and he once again had feelings for Jean Grey, and they finally got married. And on their honeymoon, they actually they were taking thousands of years into the future, and out of their bodies and new bodies, and raised Nathaniel for 12 years, and he became the future's greatest hero, Cable. Yes, this is Cable's origins. In any case, that's it for this part of Cyclops' night class. Join me again when I restart it. So this is Omki saying later, guys. We're back. All right, so nothing really happened for old Slim for a while until Charles Xavier was arrested for the crimes of the psionic entity known as Onslaught. This is where Scott resumed the role of leadership of the X-Men, and the mutant Zero Tolerance Act started, and this was started by the villainous Basson, who was a robot from the future. His attempt was to destroy all, mutants and eventually mankind. However, he was once again the X-Men were able to thwart him, and unfortunately, before they could, there was a bomb inserted in Scott's body, and the mutant doctor named Selena Reyes saved Scott's life. And then Scott and Scott and his new wife, Jean Grey, or Jean Summers, took a leave of absence.